Good evening, Cycle Breakers. Welcome back into Cycle Breaking Monday here on the Cycle Breakers for Life page. And I am so happy to have you all here with us on tonight. And boy, do I have a surprise for you on this evening. As you come in, don't forget if this is your first time here with us on Cycle Breaking Monday. Please give StreamYard permission to post your comments, your aha moments, your thumbs up, because you know I like to keep you engaged now. I'm Pastor C, your breakthrough transformational coach, your sister and your friend. And I'm here, amen, every Monday at 6:30 with tools and topics to help us break out of negative cycles and move into positive seasons of our life. Now, you know, our motto for Cycle Breakers for Life is a new life emerges when negative cycles are broken. And so as you come in, I want to greet you. Thank you so much for coming in. You know, I cannot see your name until I can't tell who you are until you post something in the chat. So as you come on in tonight, I'm just grateful to have you all here. We want you to grab your notebooks, grab your pencil, grab your, whatever you write on, and invite somebody to come on in tonight because we are going to finish up our topic. Deliverance is our portion, deliverance in our finances. So this particular topic has kept us this is our fourth week talking about deliverance in our finances. And evidently this has been a major area that we need to address here on Cycle Breaking Monday. So as you come on in, definitely tag a friend, tag someone, let them know that we are live right now on Cycle Breaking Monday. So tonight we're closing out our series on deliverance in our finances. And I want to begin with one question tonight. What happens after God brings you out? After the cycle of financial depletion is broken? What happens after you get the better job? After the business grows, or after you finally pay something off? What happens after you survive the season where you didn't know how you were going to make it? Because getting free and staying free are two different things. You can receive increase and still keep old habits. You can make more money and still live in financial stress. Listen, I want you to know you can come out of a hard season and still carry a scarcity mindset. So tonight we're answering the question, how do I remain financially delivered? So I want you to drop in the chat tonight, I want to stay free. All right, simple. Just type it in the chat. I want to stay free. So let's quickly review where we've been. Good to see you tonight, Vaughn. Good to see you. Over these past few weeks, we've learned that financial deliverance is not simply about having more money. It's about breaking the cycles that keep money controlling your peace, your choices, your relationships, and your future. So we learned point number one, stewardship procedure increase. Look, God looks at how we manage what is already in our hands. What are you doing with what's already in your hands? Number two, doubt does not have to define our destiny. Look, you might have debt, but debt does not have to master you. Number three, healthy financial habits, they really do matter. So freedom is built in what we repeatedly do. Number four was we must build a financial margin. Now, I explained what a financial margin is, but I'm going to take some time and tell you again. The margin is the space between what comes in and what goes out. This is where we left off last week. For instance, if I make $4,000 and I spend all $4,000, guess what? I don't have a margin. I don't have nothing to work with. So you get one flat tire, that's a crisis. One expected bill becomes a panic. But if I intentionally leave room, even a small amount, I have breathing space, right? Proverbs 21:20. It says, there is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. Look, everything that comes in, my friend, it does not have to go out. So tonight we want to finish up points number 5 and 6. Number 5 is protect your future. A lot of people only think about today, but financial maturity asks, what will today's decision cost me tomorrow? Your future needs protection from your present impulses. Just because you can make the payment, it doesn't always mean you can afford the purchase. I'll say it again. Just because you can make the purchase, it doesn't mean that you can afford the purchase. So just because you approve does not mean wisdom says yes, go for it. Okay? Protecting your future means thinking ahead. It means saving for emergencies, planning for retirement, reviewing your insurance, making sure your beneficiaries are current. And I'm going to address that in the next point, right? Reducing unnecessary debt, preparing instead of constantly reacting. You know, Ecclesiastes 11:2 says, "Give a portion to seven, and also to eight, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth." Now, that, my friend, is preparation. And hear me, preparation doesn't mean you're walking in fear. Preparation is wisdom. Think about Joseph. In Genesis 41, God revealed that 7 years of abundance were coming, followed by 7 years of famine. And Joseph didn't waste the abundant years. He stored during plenty so they would have something during scarcity. And that teaches us that a good season is not just for enjoyment. All right? I hope you heard that. A good season is not just for enjoyment, it is also for preparation. When more comes in, like a raise, a bonus on your check, a tax refund, a business increase, you need to ask yourself, what portion of this belongs to my future? Now, some of y'all, that sounds strange, but what portion of what you just got belongs to your future? So drop it in the chat. My future deserves a portion too. My future deserves a portion too. And practically, your future should have a line in your budget. So we know when we make a budget, we have a line for the mortgage, a line for the car payment, a line for groceries, a line for vacation, all that stuff, right? But your future should have a line too, right? So, future, even if right now you can only save $10, that's a good thing. Maybe in a couple months you can save 25, then 50. But start somewhere. You need a margin. You need to invest in your future because everything you do, everything you receive, it doesn't belong to today. All right? Listen, point number 6, and then I have a surprise for you. Point number 6 is leave a legacy because this is where I guess you could say it all comes together. Thank you, Vaughn. I see you. My future deserves a portion too. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You're walking in a blessing, so you should be able to lay over in store, right? And I say a blessing. She didn't come into millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, nothing like that. It's just God made a way out of no way for her. Okay. So the scripture says, in Proverbs 13:22, it says, "A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children." Wow. This is generational thinking. And an inheritance is bigger than money. You can leave money and still leave confusion. Beneficiaries. Let me talk about that real quick. You need to make sure you update your beneficiaries, all right? Because maybe 5 years ago you had a beneficiary listed, but maybe now in this present time, they squander everything. They don't know how to invest. They don't know how to save. They don't know any money that comes in, they spend it up. They're not even good stewards over their own house. So be careful how you leave your beneficiaries, all right? Make sure that your legacy includes wisdom, discipline, a work ethic, stewardship, generosity, and ownership, healthy financial habits, right? A new way of thinking. So ask yourself, what did my family teach me about money, even if nobody ever sat me down and taught me? Maybe you learned we always struggle. Spend it while you have it. We can't afford anything. Maybe you heard things like credit is how you survive. Charge it, charge it, charge it. Or maybe you heard people like us never get ahead. Now I'm gonna tell you, those can be financial bondage scripts until a cycle breaker like you steps in and says, this cycle of financial bondage, it stops with me. It stops with me. So type it in the chat. It stops with me. All right. Legacy does not start at your funeral. In case you thought it, once you lay down and you're not coherent to the world around you, that's your legacy, whatever you left, right? No, legacy is being built right now. Every time you budget, every time your children see you budget, that's legacy. Every time you say we're not buying that right now because it's not in the plan, guess what? That's legacy. And every time they see you save, that's a legacy. Every time you give, every time they see you recover from a financial mistake and do better, that's a legacy. So don't leave your children what you earn. Leave them what you learned. I like that, right? Don't leave your children what you earned. Leave them what you learned. Teach them the lessons you had to learn the hard way. All right. And this is why I'm so excited about our special guest tonight. I have with me in our studio ministers Jerry and Ann Summers. Now, this couple, they know what it's like to go through financial struggle. But struggle was not the end of their story. God brought them through seasons of growth, business ownership, greater stability, ministry service, and the ability to live a fulfilling life together. And I want you to hear from people who can say, we know what struggle look like, but we also know what faith, wisdom, discipline, work, and stewardship can produce over time. So I want to ask them a few questions on tonight. I want them to bring them on stage with me tonight. And so let's welcome to the stage Ministers Jerry and Ann Summers on tonight. Good to see you tonight.
Well,
Woo. Thank you all so much for joining me here on Cycle Breaking Monday. Sorry to keep you backstage for a while, but our guests are here. And of course, a lot of times with Cycle Breaking Monday, we get a lot of people after that watch the replays. So know that you will be listened to and watched. But I'm grateful to have you all here with me on tonight. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing really good. Wonderful.
Really
Awesome.
good.
Awesome.
Excited.
Yvonne is saying, welcome, welcome. Let's welcome them into the studio on tonight.
Thank you.
So
Thank
listen, I want to start out by asking you all a question. Just relax, just be yourselves. What did financial struggle look like for you as a couple before things began to shift?
you. Very tight.
Extra tight. We we had, but it was a struggle trying to pay bills and trying to do what we're supposed to do to make it through. But by the grace of God, um, it was rough and tough before we got where we are now.
Yes,
Okay.
that's like definitely living paycheck to paycheck,
Okay.
checking our bank accounts every day
Uh,
to make sure we wasn't in the negative, and able to, just buy food for our kids and like Tim said, pay our bills. I mean, things were tight. We didn't have extra to be going out and taking trips, and even when we did take a trip, we had just enough, to do the hotel and, just couldn't do a whole lot.
and that's
So
real life, isn't it?
that, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. So what
yeah.
changed first? I mean, your income, your mindset, or your habits?
I said
Um,
the habit.
the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
then the habits.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the mindset was, I can't keep living like this. Um, we still had better than some, but we had less than others. So, but it just got to the point that we changed our mind to what we wanted. Because if we kept living like we were living, that's for now. But I wanted to live. I wanted to be able to live in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be struggling all the way through. So when we changed our mindset to how we do stuff, I always been
I agree.
a person that I don't like to spend. spend. But you spend because I mean, we had a big family, so
Mm-hmm.
it took a lot to um, do what we need to do. So um, if I can go on with the way we changed the mindset was that we got to live now, um, like we want to have in the future. So we had to
Mhm.
sit down and make sure we put a budget in place
Mm-hmm.
to where we had car payments, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2 car payments, 3 car payments, and other things. So what we done was, and that was in the part of me working for someone, working
Mm-hmm.
for myself.
Yep.
Um, um, so we changed our mindset to say we're gonna do save now and take little now that we can live comfortably later.
Right.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
I definitely say I would add to that working together.
Of
We had
course.
to have the same mindset as like, you know, as Tim said, he wasn't a spender. He was more disciplined in saving and having a budget. So, I had to get on board with that same frame of thinking So I say definitely, like he said, the mindset, and then the better habits kicked in after that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna ask you. I just want you all to talk to the audience because I feel like you all have some things that you can share with those who listen. We've been talking about finances and deliverance in our finances, breaking that cycle of financial poverty. And
Mhm.
I just want you to talk to the audience about, just talk from your heart and just share what God has put in your heart for the audience tonight.
Okay.
Well, from my perspective, when I say we changed the mindsets, is that um, we wanted to. If you want to spend everything you have, then when you get to the future, you ain't gonna have no future.
Mhm.
So my thing is that you have to set your mind. You have to set your money that you have on a mission. And when you set your money on a mission, then you take that money and put it to what is necessary. You gotta have food. If you got kids now, you gotta have food. You gotta have a house. And then from there, you gotta. If you don't have enough, or you just do have enough, that's when you have to do the next step. Is cut everything you can cut now, and just do the basics. Bottom line, don't do the vacations. Take that extra vacation money and pay off. So we started, and
Mhm.
within 1 year, we had all of the cars paid off. Um, we didn't do no vacations. If we done something, it might be a couple of days at the beach, but we paid off everything. We went debt free, and in the process of going debt free, then that freed up money. But we still didn't go start spending money. We started doing the next thing was putting stuff in order to. Um, we don't want to live. We want to be able to live later better than we living now. So what you do, your budget, everything got to have a space to go to. And our number one thing was what God that God get the glory out of everything we got. So from that point, we always do our tithes and offering. That was the major thing.
Mhm.
Every time I gave my tithes and offering, God blessed me. Every time when we seemed like it wasn't no way, that tithes and offering is still gonna return to God. And when it returned to God, He blesses us. And that's why every time we done what the word of God said, He blessed us.
That's
And
awesome.
money got to a point that money wasn't the issue. Now we still had to make it to the end, and our end is when as we retire and everything. We want to have everything in order. So um, I'm a entrepreneur to my heart. So
Mhm.
um, we uh, we started. I had businesses, and every time I have a business, I make sure that God get His part of the business. Help people, do whatever I can do with that the money that was came in. But the main thing was first get debt free, and we got debt free, and I didn't go out and make more debt. Um, the only thing I made more debt is when I started another business, and I had to get equipment. Then I went in debt. But even in that, I still give my tithes. If somebody was in need,
Mhm.
I gave. Um, it's basically God set us up with the right mindset to do what we needed to do. And because we were always ask God, what do you want me to do? And it always been to give back to Him what is His, help those who need it with what you have. But no, we just didn't give out frivolously. God guided and direct us into what we should do. So even in starting a business, my wife looking at me like, should we do this? But I had confidence in who God was, who God is in our lives. And that's what the big step was to put God first in what we do, that He will bless what we do. And that He have done it. So we went to where we are now, that we have the business running good. I had mindset, like I say, put every dollar to the test. And even in that, we made extra money. Every extra dime, nickel, quarter, dollar that I made, I put it towards the debt. We get debt free, and then I wanted to be the lender, not the slave to the bar. Being a borrower, a slave to it. So that was my one of my goals, to be the lender, which is to help those who are in need. Um, and I didn't have no millions and millions of dollars, but every dollar counts for something. So every dollar that I put back to God's work or back to God, then He blesses that dollar. So it's kind of where we are. I don't know how far I should go with it, but it's
Yeah. So
and
what do you say about that, Ann? I mean, what was your what is your take on that? What is in your heart?
I just it was in my heart. The part how you were saying where we were before it actually things actually turned. And I just know that like it was hard, going to bed worrying, we have enough to do this, we have enough to do that. But when we, became disciplined and just not spending everything that came in, that was really the turning point, because I can recall times when getting upset because I want to do this or I want to do that, and we had the money there, but my husband would be like, "No, we don't need to do that because we need to save." And as a wife, sometimes you get upset because you want to go shopping with your friends, or you want to do this, but if hubby says no, this is the plan, and we have to stick with it. And then I saw how extra monies were coming in, and like you said, he had his regular job, then he did work on the side, but he was real disciplined with paying off our debt and putting up money for savings. So when it came time, there were two very monumental moments in our marriage where it came time where he asked me, did we want to get another house? How do you feel about getting another house? And I was like, sure, I don't mind getting another house. But we were at that point where we could go and get it like right away, and had money for down payment, didn't have extra bills or anything that we had to pay off, but that came from discipline. And I would also say obedience, because I had my card too. I could have just went and swiped and hid my little stuff or whatever, but we had to be on the same page. And then another moment that came down the road was when he got sick and I
Mm,
had to take off from work.
that's
And
good.
um I had to use, the rest of my PTO, which was only like a week. So I was off a whole month, and I didn't get any pay for that. But it was okay because we had enough money in
Mm,
the bank, not just in our savings, but we had enough money in the bank and our savings to maintain where we were. And even after that, he was out of work for 3 months. Tim
mm,
was out of work for 3 months, and we were just on my check, and he was getting um, a check too. But still, what I'm trying to say is we didn't have to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. And if had we still been in that place, we would have been in, a really bad place. So we had money to do, continue to keep moving. So
mm,
I'm just thankful for that. And so, that turning point was not spending everything that came in and putting money up for the future, because I didn't know he was gonna get sick to the point of not being able to move and be paralyzed for a little minute, But I didn't have to worry financially because I knew he had taken care of our finances to the point where we were good.
I think I thank you all so much for your transparency tonight because, I think that is the one thing that we don't talk about is that margin, having that margin in our finances so that when something unexpected happens, a lot of times people get their money and they just live for today and
Mm-hmm.
they never think about the margin and how that margin, meaning your savings, your investments, things like that, how those things being there is so important. So when an emergency does come, you're prepared for it, and we like Tim said, he began to tell his money where to go, he gave it an assignment, and you have to give your money an assignment. And even hearing you as a wife talking about what you had to do during that time, how you had to adjust, how you had to shift. Those
Mm-hmm.
things we can't plan for. We can plan a trip, we can plan to go to the grocery store, but you can't plan for emergencies. So,
Mm-hmm.
what would you all tell a couple, or even a single person? Hey, both of you were single at one time. What would you tell a single person and or a married couple, that feels stuck? They know that they need to, do something different, in their finances. And maybe right now all they have is, they're maybe they get 100 and 200 some dollars on a paycheck that they're making. What would you tell a person that feels like it's virtually impossible to save? I hear y'all talking about saving,
Mhm.
have a margin, but I don't even get a little bit of money. What would you tell a person like that?
Mhm.
Um, basically, you may feel that you don't have enough money, but there's always ways to make different money. I mean, you got skills, some kind of skill within yourself. Because God give all of us a some kind of skill that we can use. So even if you don't have enough money, because we've been there, that well, we got a paycheck, yeah, but the paycheck is gone out. So you got to find whatever that is you have to be able to make an extra money. It don't take a lot, but to save something, you gotta, like I said, you gotta purpose your money. And like obviously I was saying earlier, if it ain't but $10, $5, and that would add up over time. So you got to put something back, and if you don't have it, you just don't have it. Now we have had times that uh, the money wasn't enough to do the bills, but just by God's grace, that we was able to make it through. We had other family members that helped out, but you have to take as a couple, you have to really sit down and take a inventory of where you are, what you have, and what you have is enough if you put it in the right use. Like
Mhm.
write everything down and see what you got. Okay, how can I stop this? Because I know
I was
women,
gonna say
they
about
love they
that.
love to shop, but
We do.
my wife, she listened to me and I listened to her because there was things that I like to do, because I'm just, help. Sometimes you can't help everybody, so you have to pull back. So, but you got to sit down with each other and let one thing that broke us, helped us in the going through was, like I said, women like to shop, so we will set aside her money, my money, as our money,
Mhm.
but we had account two accounts, one for her, one for me, and we always added to them accounts and allow her whatever you do with that money in that account, you do whatever you want to. Whatever I do with the money that I put in my account, well, we put in our account, it's mine. But this money right here is for everything else. That's why if you want to splurge, but I noticed when you do that, then your account don't get empty because you ain't trying to get empty.
That's
So
right.
that helps you to save some money.
It makes a
So
difference.
we once we got to that point that we was able to do that, then every paycheck or something, for the rest of $50, if it's $100 or $5, we go in hers, and we go in mine. And what you do with that money, you can give it away, throw it, burn it, whatever you want to. That was yours. But everything else got this purpose. That money was for your personal purpose. That's for mine. But like I said, every dollar got to be counted for a purpose. But you always got to put that purpose as God's, helping God's house, helping God, and then doing it and helping God's people, and even helping those that don't have on on the street, whatever ministry you might have or not. But it's put the money to a purpose and leave it to that purpose, and take your wants, desires, and all that stuff to the side, because you want to be able to get into a place that where as you get more mature in your life, he'd say
Yeah.
older, but more mature in your life, then you got something that you
Something.
can relax and
Enjoy.
enjoy your life. You can still enjoy your life, but just take what you have, put it in God's hand, and that's why I always put it in God's hand, and He will multiply. If we believe it in our own hands, it's going to subtract. That's just
That's
where
awesome.
it is. So put it in
Whew,
God's hand, it will multiply.
that's
I know
awesome.
you're out of time,
Yeah. Okay.
overseer,
No, go
but
ahead.
only thing I was going to add to
Invite people. You're fine. I'm sorry. Please
okay.
go ahead, Ann.
But yes, what I was going to say, when you say you really don't have to give, you do have to sit down and really look at what's all going out and where you can cut back, because not only do we like to shop, but we like to go eat with our friends, eat out and different things like that, and you'd be surprised how much money you spend on just going out to eat, with your friends. So I say definitely, just look at where you're putting your money, what you're spending your money on. And the other thing is, even if you can't physically put that money to the side and say, make sure you have a 401 or you're giving in some type of way on your job, because that's saving, you know, and it'll pay off and help you down the road. So
Mhm. I'm
that's what
so
I would
glad.
add.
I'm so you all brought out some really, really good tips. I'm looking at our comments, here. What awesome, great advice. This is really good information that you're giving out. And even when you talked about the 401k, I mean, a lot of people don't even recognize, they look at again the immediate return. And
Hmm.
but I know myself when I had to go into retirement, it was yes, I got the social security, my retirement from, that, but having that 401k,
Hmm.
that was gosh, that has carried me for years, even now, because I took that money out of my check and it was going there and I never bothered it. I didn't borrow against it, anything like that. So, those things are really, really important. Um, Dee Dee says this was very helpful and informative. So thank you all so much for your comments.
Welcome.
I appreciate you all for taking the time. I know you're busy people, and it's excuse me, Minister Ann is actually in school right now, working a full-time job. And Minister Tim has his own trucking business, which is really growing, very successful. Both of them have that business together, but this is a team that works together. And if I could say anything, I wanted them to come on because it's so important to see that we can do it. Even if you're single, you can do it. I like what Mr. Tim said, even if you can just, both of them, if you can just save a
Hmm.
little bit, a little bit goes a long way. Start somewhere. So thank you so much for coming on, Minister Ann. I do want to, and Minister Tim, I do want to see if I can add this too. You all make sure you jump over and you click on and get the 30-day financial freedom reset. It's a
Okay.
30-day reset for your finances. It'll walk you through for 30 days. It's a challenge, but it helps you to get started, on developing financial freedom mindset. Both of them said it's all about the mindset. So
Hmm.
it's a free download. All you have to do is click on the link, put in your email address, and it comes right to you. So please,
Okay.
please make sure you get that. Tell your friends about it. It's free, and we just want to be a blessing. Cycle Breakers for Life is here to help you break negative cycles and move into positive seasons of your life.
Amen.
One last announcement. Don't forget the Shift conference is coming up September the 24th through the 26th. We got some dynamite speakers coming, and we're also launching our Shift anthology on Saturday, which is the Shift Experience, at the Shift Experience Luncheon. We have Minister Apostle Kim Turner speaking on Thursday night. Bishop Stanley Dwight Milton is speaking on Friday night. I will be ministering on Saturday morning, and Minister Shamila Luster will be doing our Shift Experience luncheon. So you can register now. The registration link is open if you want to come. Amen. You want to be a part, then make sure that you are in the room. So listen, we're going to have to log out. It's been great having the Summers with us on tonight. You all did an awesome job. We meant to
Thank
get you come
you.
back when we deal with some things dealing with some marriage issues and stuff. So know that I got your name down and we will be having you back again. Thank you. Thank you. Is
Thank
anything else
you.
to say to the audience before we click off tonight?
Just thank you for your
Thank,
time.
yes, thank you.
Hmm.
Just thank you
Thank
for having us on.
Yes.
thank you. Well, God bless you all and you all have a great night. Thanks
God
again.
bless you.
All right.
Bye.
Well, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed our evening. I have to log off. I'm gonna actually have a class I need to log into. But God bless you all. Thank you all so much for coming on tonight. God bless you. Don't forget the conference. Don't forget to download your 30-day financial freedom reset free download. God bless you all. This is Pastor C, your breakthrough transformational coach, your sister and your friend. And I'm on the sidelines of your journey. Amen. And I'm cheering for you. Come back next Monday at 6:30. We're going to be talking about deliverance is my portion, but deliverance in my whole life. All right. Deliverance in my whole life. So God bless you. Thank you so much, Dee Dee, for G, for Joan, Mom, Vaughn, all of you that are here tonight. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. God bless you all. And prayerfully, I will see you next Monday at 6:30. Take care. Bye-bye.